See, Steve, I tried to get so tight on the intro there that he had no
I
room to
saw.
edit. Right? He's like, I got shafted. Hey, this is Wicked Spursy.
I never did that to you. You can go now, Dave.
That's what Mike
Mike got
said. Hey,
shafted.
this is Wicked Spursy. Mike, Steve, Dave. Great to have the boys back together. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this fine evening with a little snow on the ground? Winter is not ready to go away from us quite yet, but we're feeling the warmth. Steve, looking good in your Ken hoodie. How's it going, bud? What's up?
Man, I wish I had that pink bedazzled suit. That I would wear to Wicked Spursy recording sessions. I feel like that's the appropriate occasion for a pink bedazzled suit. That and the Oscars, but I'm never going to the Oscars, so
The Wicked Spursy barbecue.
yeah, there we go. There we go. Just get my sunglasses on. I'd pull that off.
Definitely.
But
I'd support that.
yeah, it's no, but it's good. It's good. It's good. It's always a rough time when the snow hits and all of a sudden, oh, your childcare is closed. Um, but my wife and I took turns with the kiddo. We went outside. I shoveled. He threw snowballs at me the whole time. And then we didn't build a snowman. We didn't build anything else really, but we did pile a bunch of snow in one spot and made basically like a snow obelisk in the front of my yard.
The St. Albans
Just
sphere.
just a
Steve,
tower of snow.
Steve with the giant phallic symbol in his front yard. It's just yeah,
Just
just
get tiny little
just
snowballs
feeling.
right in the front. Yeah.
So Steve, got to ask, and I'm flashing back to when I used to have to make those snow day decisions. So when you're doing that, that half the people are going to be thrilled and the other half are going to be angry, right? It's just
Yeah.
that's the way of the world. But what time? I'm curious. What time do you find out, and how do you find out that the old daycare is just not going to be in service on a given day?
Well, it varies. It's very inconsistent with
Hmm.
when we get it. Sometimes it's like minutes before. Today, I'll tell you, we got a message at 6:14 in the morning
Hmm.
letting us know, which was kind of good because I was, about to go out and shovel, and then I saw that and went, sweet, I can just snooze for another half hour or so. But
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. At least you weren't. At
sometimes,
least you weren't in the car on the way there when you get the message, right?
oh, I'd have been pissed. I'd have been
For sure.
really pissed. Um, but it's one of those things, right? Like I've just kind of accepted that it's gonna happen. It happens to everybody, might as well just roll with it. And yeah, playing out in the snow is fun. They have a professional development day tomorrow, so they're closed tomorrow as well. We'll just go
Convenient.
we'll just go back to the snow.
There you go.
It'll be
Good stuff.
great. Yeah,
Good
might as
stuff.
well. Why not?
And Mike, we know your son, I think it's tomorrow, gets to have a soccer practice in the snow.
No,
What's
it's
up with
happening
that, and how are
right.
you
It's
doing?
happening. It's
Oh,
happening right now
it's as we speak. Oh,
as we speak. It's
well,
fucking
I'd
cold there.
rather
It's like,
I'd rather be in your basement than out there freezing,
yeah,
right?
the feel like I guess outside is like 21 degrees at
Yeah.
and Amy said it's worse out there
Ugh.
because the wind just whips through Virtue. So
Oh, good.
they're out practicing for their upcoming their tournament that's coming up this weekend.
Nice.
I'll be down in Lancaster, Massachusetts for the NESC showcase tournament. So we're bringing
Nice.
down a limited amount of players from our team.
That's like Amish
Um,
Mennonite territory down there, isn't it? Lancaster.
that's Pennsylvania.
That's what you said, wasn't it?
No. Massachusetts.
Oh, I thought you said Pennsylvania. All right.
So it's Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Lancaster,
Oh, come on.
Massachusetts.
I
Because
bet I
because
bet it's spelt the same too.
I
because
bet
oh,
it is
it
too.
absolutely is. It's
Fuckers.
ridiculous. It's like Worcester, which is spelled Worcester.
Worcester.
Worcester. Get some of that
Because the
Worcestershire sauce.
Massachusetts pilgrims can't figure out how to speak properly.
Hey, how you feeling, Mike? You were a bit under the weather last week. You sound better. You
Oh,
feeling?
thanks. Yeah, I still got like a lot of congestion in my chest, and the flu really hit hard, man. I've never actually had the real flu, so that hit hard.
Like never. I mean, you're an old man at this point. You've never had the real flu.
Never had the real flu, and like 4 days of fevers was like, holy shit, it was worse than COVID was for me.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
Guess there's a reason they give shots for that too. Had you had your flu shot this year?
Yes.
Wow. Guess you got the
Yeah.
wrong one then, huh?
I guess so.
This guy didn't.
Yeah, the
Nice.
one.
Congrats, Steve.
The 1 year my wife doesn't get hers. She didn't get it, but the rest of us did.
Interesting.
Outside of that, like I was at I put in 30 hours at work this weekend and almost thought I was dying. Just from pure exhaustion. Um, Operating room's a little stressful, but what's really funny is that I got to still go to Lucas's soccer games, which was great. His far post team switched it up for futsal this session, so he's on a different team with a completely different group of kids. Because they have two teams, they have to split the team up into two for 5v5. And then his 7v7 team, I got to see a couple of games on the 7v7 field, which is played on like a U18 field or U16 field, just smaller than like a standard 11v11 field. But they play 7v7 on it, so it's like wide open and super fast, and the passing is just amazing, and it's really great to see. Like we send him to a friend of ours, Abdi, whose son also plays with Lucas, or not son, nephew, and we send him on every Sunday to Abdi training. We call it Abdi training, and his touch has improved. His overall attitude on the field has improved. His finishing has improved. He's just got to be able to get the footwork and the dribbling down, and he's got a whole package going. And it's just amazing to see the kid's face light up. As opposed to last year was a tough season. So I just like. I know I come on here all the time with these proud dad moments, but just to see the way that he grows through the sport, and then comes home and he's still just like loves to be a little kid. It's pretty great stuff. My daughter turns 15 tomorrow, so that's it.
Nice.
That's another thing. So that's
I
permit
smell
test.
a driver's permit coming. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
she's been driving a little bit, I'll say, but
Nice.
took her to a couple parking lots and let her tool around the parking lot in the old Corolla.
Is she going to be a good driver, or is she going to be a scary driver?
I think my wife, I haven't actually been with her yet. My wife has, because I have no patience, and she's just like me.
Thought you worked in a hospital.
Right? It's impossible.
I know, no patience. I work in a hospital.
Dude,
but
Steve,
no,
you're using my dad jokes early, man. What are you doing here?
She's gonna be a fucking great driver, like her old man. I'm a great driver, so.
All right.
I've been in the car with him. I'll confirm.
Dave has too.
I've driven with Mike in Boston. He's not a good Boston driver. He may be a good driver otherwise, but
I'm a good Boston driver.
He gets so angry.
I get so angry.
That's good. You need that.
Straight up angry elf. That's Mike, man.
If you're not,
No, they
Call
teach
me
you
elf one more
they
time.
teach you in school when you're in driver's ed to be like a defensive driver, right?
Yeah.
Mike's an offensive driver. Yeah,
No, you got to be an offensive driver in the city, man.
Yeah, if you're
Especially
in
that-
Boston and you're not
especially that
flipping somebody
city.
off the entire time, I mean, what are you even doing?
That city is fucking awful to drive in.
It really is.
It's awful anyway,
but full of lovely Spurs fans, of course. For all those,
I love Boston
who are
Spurs.
joining
Yes,
us.
Hey,
I do. I
great
do love
people,
it down
but
there.
whoever designed that fucking city is they're high on something. I don't know, man. That makes no fucking sense.
They were high on colonialism.
That's got to be it.
The spirit of liberty. That's what
Somebody
it is.
explain to their civil engineer what a grid is.
Their civil engineer, the colonial
Their civil engineer was also a brewer.
Yeah, exactly.
Sam Adams.
That explains it.
Yep.
Well, hey, let's talk a little football, boys. Good weekend match. Mike, you want to get started? What'd you see?
You're gonna make me go first.
I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you finish, Taylor. I'm gonna let you finish. What do you got? What'd you see? What'd you think?
Man, we went in there. We fucking, we didn't just beat them. We kind of like let them float along in the lazy river for a while, and then we came up behind them and like just held their fucking heads down underwater, like a
kind of like swirly them, basically, right?
Yeah, we swirlied them like we're like a bully. It's like we let you have your fun for a little bit. Now it's our turn to have some fun. And
It's true.
yeah, man. It was. So I had to do a rewatch because I watched in between my cases at work and on my little phone, and that kind of sucked because lo and behold, the work computers won't allow me to stream Peacock or USA, so that wasn't fun.
Because
I know.
if they had that good of internet, like hospitals would be more expensive, basically, right? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Keep the costs down. Whatever it takes, keep the costs down. Yeah,
So
let's
anywho,
throttle your stream.
no, it's just they won't let they block it. But so I did watch on my little phone, and I don't seem to be. I wasn't as frustrated as everybody else seemed to be on the interwebs. I thought that like the first half was well controlled. I thought that it was weird that Aston Villa, because Unai Emery is not one of these guys who he's another one of those managers who won't change his tactics generally. And I thought it was weird when the game started, and they were in kind of like this weird back five situation. They usually play like a base 4-2-3-1 with a high line, and they came out in that like back five situation, and I think we've talked about it. Like maybe that's the blueprint to beat Spurs, and Wolves played it very well. They're hyper organized. We talked about how hyper organized they are on defense. But this Aston Villa team, I don't know why they changed their tactic, other than the fact that I think maybe they were very aware of what the last match could have been had Sonny been able to make his runs properly and stay on side. Um, I think they were just really super super aware of that. So, and they have seen that this packing the box and this low blocking counter game has been working. The problem is when it's not going to work when you have one guy that you rely on the entire, for every single fucking match. They're scoring at a record pace for their club, and it's all because of one guy.
Ali had scored like 5 and 5, hadn't he? I think I read.
Yeah. I mean, the dude's on fire this season.
Yeah,
but he's the only reason. Like
He looked good in the Spurs
Leon
shirt.
Bailey's a good player. I guess he would. He's 28 years old though now, so you have to think about that too.
Really,
Leon
18.
Bailey's a fine player, but
young.
he's just an okay player. That's like he's not even as good as Lucas Moura was, in his prime for Spurs.
There's a lot of players on that team I really dislike. You know what I mean? There's names that just they come across.
There's three that I generally dislike, and I forgot about the fourth one.
So I'm gonna go with McGinn, Cash, and what's his name? Let's hear it because I'll say yep. That's
Luca
him.
Digne.
Nope, not Digne. Yeah. There's somebody else on my mind that is escaping me.
Yuri Tielemans.
Tielemans.
Yeah. You know what Tielemans to me? Tielemans. So when I was doing my rewatch, I'm looking at him like this guy looks, and I wonder what James Madison thinks of him. Because they play together. But I looking at him, I'm like he looks like a fucking extra from The Walking Dead. Somebody who just turned into a zombie. They haven't been fully walking the earth for months and months, and like he just turned into a zombie.
That's funny.
That's what he looks like to me.
How about speaking of that? How about Longley making an appearance? Huh?
Longlay's
also looks like a zombie.
He's been a nailed on starter for them for a long time. I mean, they're a good team. They are a good team. They're well coached. At times they're fun to watch. They had their little run, but I think, this team got found out, and their big mistake was switching back to their other tactic. I don't know what they thought they were doing or why they did it, but this is the second team in a row that's done that, which is switch back to their old tactics, go back to their old formation. And we fucking used them. We used our possession really, really wisely in the first half. There was a lot of things I was noticing that I don't think I noticed before. And maybe it's just because I was watching past the game instead of watching, through it. But every time somebody had the ball on the outside or on the back line in our possession, there was a different player who's making strict, fast, straight runs into the box, and then they'd peel off, and then the next guy would go, and then they would peel off, and the ball was passed around, and then the next guy would go, and then they would peel off. And there just wasn't that opening. But what that does to a defense is it really, really just tires guys out. And I think Nick in our chat made the observation that they were really tired. And I was like, yeah, it was probably because they played a fucking game on Thursday as well.
Oh,
Yeah, boo
boo-hoo.
hoo.
Yeah, right. No, I'm
Feel so
saying
sorry.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so you know, they were tired, man. You can't just defend for that long against a team that's going to hold possession and constantly making runs at you and constantly making runs at you and doing the work. You're not going to hold out. Um,
Can I
Dragusin was imperious again. I mean, not Dragusin. Mickey Van de Ven was imperious until his injury before the half. And go ahead,
But
you
you
were
know
going to
what?
say
I think Dragusin did well to step into that.
I
he
agree.
really did. He
Yeah.
really did. I
I
thought he
liked
was.
what I saw.
Yeah, I thought he had a couple of like iffy moments. He really showed his physicality out there, but he also showed something that we kind of knew that he had, but I didn't really realize he was as fast as he is. His recovery pace was
Hmm.
great.
Oh yeah.
He's been rested, so I mean, he had 11 minutes previously. So
Yeah, across
he's
3 games or
been well
something.
rested.
yeah,
I'm
so he's
curious. I'm curious, Steve. Maybe I'll transition to you with this. Mike, you talking about Villa getting found out the way they did, and they did. Like as I look at that match as a neutral and say which team is a top four team. I mean, it's glaringly obvious which one is and is not from what that match looked like. I'm just thinking about like the accidental Europe qualifiers, right? Like the teams that kind of slip in and then get freaking pummeled uh, with the schedule the next year because they're just not ready to handle all that. Like to me, that seems classically what Villa is, and we saw it with Newcastle. Like you've
we
seen
saw it
it
with
with
Spurs,
yeah, I saw it with Spurs.
Conte Spurs.
It's just an interesting concept, Steve. Like where how do you see that, and how's that relate to the way you saw Spurs play against Villa over
I
the
mean,
weekend?
honestly, I think a lot of it is just professionalism across the team. There were moments, we saw it during Jose's tenure and even Conte's, where they would talk about inexperience and not being used to the pressures and the demands and blah, blah, blah. I just think there's got to be something that's more to it than just, oh, they're not used to it. Um, I don't know what happens in the dressing room. I don't know what happens in trading or whatever, but to me, there's a big part of it that's just how they're coached to manage the expectations, right? Um, because if you think about it, and this one of the reasons I think Villa's excuse is sort of bullshit. They played what the worst Ajax team in like 70 years midweek, and they had some rotation going on. Like
Is that the cleaning powder, Ajax?
Ajax.
it's
Yeah.
gotta be Ajax, Ajax, whatever. But the point
Sorry.
is, like, it's not like they were playing Manchester City 2 days ago and then they have to play
Right.
Spurs. And, they just weren't good enough at managing those expectations. They weren't fit enough to play, multiple games like that. Maybe it caught up to them. It's been a long season. But I don't like that as an excuse because it happens to everybody. We've had stretches in the past where we've played, 2 days before, and then we get 3 days rest, and then we play again, and then we get another 3 days rest, and then we're at it again. And if you want to challenge for the top, you need to be prepared for that. They were not prepared. And they talked a big game too. McGinn coming out beforehand saying that it's one of the biggest fixtures on their calendar because of the positioning.
Well, he fucked that up, didn't he?
Oh yeah, what a fucking idiot. Um, but it'll be interesting if we do get Europe, which is looking increasingly likely, whether it's Champions League or one of the other European competitions. It'll be curious to see what Ange does because we know he's not going to change his tactics. He's going to insist on keeping up that high pressure, pushing hard. Is the team going to get that fitness level? Are we going to have the depth? Are we going to see a lot more rotation than we have been able to see? I think part of the issue that we've had in this back half of the campaign is there's just not been enough time to give some of the guys like your Donley um, a solid run. I mean, we're in one competition and we can't fuck it up. that's
True.
that's just what happens, right?
Yeah. Very true.
Unfortunately for Spurs, in the past, when we've rotated guys in, they've just been a clear step down, right? Like not even playing the same game half the time. but you look at what Spurs are doing behind the scenes, looking at some of the younger guys that they're securing the contracts, these younger players that they're bringing in for the U21s, this almost generational talent.
Mhm.
And to me, it comes across as much more forward thinking. When we get into multiple cup competitions next campaign, I would expect a lot more rotation. I would expect that we would see more of Dragusin. I would expect we would see more of, whoever we bring in the midfield to replace who I imagine is outgoing Lo Celso or Højbjerg or both. We're gonna get more guys in the door for Ange's system, and we're gonna see more rotation. I don't. I think Villa, they got the rotation part, but they just didn't do anything with it. So they've exhausted some of their players. They made stupid mistakes. They probably didn't approach it tactically the right way. They got found out. Sucks to be
Mhm.
them. Welcome to Europe. If you want to stay in there, you got to get used to it.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. What
These
else you
guys,
see?
he's going hard line,
Cynical Steve, not
I
cynical,
know
but
it's
yeah, just
Well, I
direct.
mean,
no, it's like
this.
it's like the 1970s or 80s dad. Don't be a pussy, you know.
Well, it's just
Suck it
I
up,
just
rub
get
some
sick.
dirt on it.
I
Strap it
just
up,
get sick
son.
and tired of because when it's Spurs, it's get used to it. You gotta nut up and take your licking. But when it's Villa, it's
Take your
poor
licking.
Villa. They had to play a game 2 days before.
That's not
And
what I
boy,
said, though.
those announcers were all about that too, weren't they? Like they
They
Are you
were.
really
talking about the
were.
announcers? Or are you talking about what I said? I wasn't
The
making excuses.
announcers. I'm
Yeah,
more into the announcers because that
it's
every
true.
time
Rebecca
it's
Lowe is
always
beautiful.
but it's always like
Beautiful, but
anti-Spurs bias
crap opinions on occasion.
Well, I
on
mean,
occasion, like almost all the time when Spurs
Fair.
are involved. Um,
Well, there's probably a reason they sent her to the U.S., right?
yeah, yeah, true. No, but in this game in particular, I mean, I think for as off as Villa were, I think Spurs they were cooking. I mean, the first half was
yeah,
not
dude.
great,
I
right?
didn't think
Like
it was that bad. I really
it
didn't.
it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything to write home about. It was just, we applied pressure. We didn't really force the issue too much. It was patient, a little bit frustrating at times with some loose passing or players not being on the same wavelength.
Romero,
Uh,
Basuma, both
yep, Romero
lazy
Basuma's
passing.
son even had a couple of loose passes, which
Steve,
was
what I noticed too, about that kind of phase of play, like that middle section of the first half, was that um, balls that were lost in the midfield when we were on the attack. There was a lot of the hanging of the head and shoulders.
Hmm.
There was one series where Udogi kind of was doing a little give and go and didn't move the way that Sonny want. They lost the ball.
Mhm.
And then Sonny immediately hung his head in his shoulders and then turned and looked at Udogi and was talking and yelling at him, telling him where he should have gone while the ball is fucking going by them. That's what made me upset in the first half. Like that's that old leftover shit from the Mourinho days.
Yep.
So that's what pissed me off in the first half. But the rest of
Yeah.
it, I felt that we were passing with purpose. We were trying things. They weren't coming off the way that we wanted them to, but they were trying things, and I
Mhm.
think that contributed to a lot of what tired Villa out.
And frankly, I don't mind them trying things and having it not come off. It's much, much better for them to try and make a progressive play out there than to just do the same fucking triangle passing and nothing ever comes of it. And then it goes all the way back to Vicario anyway. Um, but there is one thing, and Mike, you got to rewatch it. So I'm curious what your take is because there's one passage of play that distinctly sticks out as being different than anything I've seen in most of the game and frankly in quite a number of games. And it has to do with our boy Dragusin, who at one point in the second half
Took a ball
played
to the nuts
well,
hard.
yes.
I
But
knew you weren't going there.
but I'm thinking of he played a long diagonal pass to Decky, like cross field diagonally going progressive. I don't really remember that happening too much. Most of the time, the Romero or Van de Ven, they're taking it and they're driving forward. That's the one time I can distinctly remember a center back trying to
Yeah,
play that long
well,
diagonal ball across field.
we haven't really had somebody who could do that.
And he did it well. He found
And
his man.
it's not. I don't think it's part of Ange ball. I think it was just that's an instinctive thing for Dragusin probably. But
Toby used to do it back in the
Toby,
day, right?
yeah. So we haven't had anybody since Toby.
Dyer tried.
Failed.
Dyer was great that 1.5 season under. I mean, under Conte.
He was good.
And then he got his
he got himself
call
back
up
in the
then...
England team, and now he's in Germany thriving. Good for him. Good
yeah,
for
but
old,
it's Germany. I mean,
good for old football head. Yeah, weird shaped head Dyer.
But don't want to lose Steve's point. Steve,
But
you're
yeah,
asking Mike about
that pass. I
what
mean,
caught his eye.
it's nice to have somebody who's capable of picking that ball out because a lot of the times you'll hear me talk about causing chaos among the opposition, making it so that they don't know what you're going to do. When all you do is the same thing over and over again, it gets really easy to defend. When you've got somebody who does something unexpected, like Dragusin pinging that ball over to Decky on the run and finding him, all of a sudden it's like, shit, now I got to watch my runners. It opens up space in that midfield. And then you've got opportunity to drive forward or to pass it into your Sarr or your Madison. It's awesome. I loved
yeah,
it.
it is. Let's get into some of these goals because
yes.
I know we're gonna get pressed for time here in a second, but um the the first goal for me was obviously the most beautiful goal. And it was classic. That's classic Ange ball. You know, it's Pedro Porro putting in a big defensive effort. Decky getting to a space where he can receive the ball, give it back to Porro, move forward, receive the ball back, and then find a wide fucking open pass to which it did get deflected. But because there was so much space in front of Sarr, he was able to move out wide and recover, which stretched out the defenders, but it also took the eye off of where Madison was running directly between the two center backs. And by the time he received the ball, which was inch perfect from Sarr, I mean, it was one of the most beautiful crosses that I think we've seen this summer or this season. And again, great finish by Madison, great run by Madison. I mean, there were 4 players there that made that happen. Every single, and it seemed all 3 of the 4 goals were had some sort of involvement from Decky, who I called out in our chat in the middle of the game, right, or in the middle of the first half, saying I said that Decky had to be pulled off, the Sarr had to be pulled off. Obviously, it was just another one of those things where I was just watching the game instead of watching into the game instead of or through the game instead of watching just the ball bouncing around.
I mean, to be fair, there was underperformance in that first half.
There was by a lot, and I thought the only person that I thought was actually performing very, very well the entire game is our new left winger, Brennan Johnson.
He was good.
Brennan Johnson was very good. There's a player there. We have found a player there, and we have found a guy that's starting to get a little bit of confidence there, and a guy who knows that he can be a rotation player, he can be a starter, and I think that like these guys on this team that are accepting of these roles, I think we're going to be at our best come the time that we have that nasty run of games that I guarantee they're going to sandwich fucking Chelsea into as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
April. So
Mike, I just realized you were going there. Your name tonight is the statement you just made. I just am putting the pieces together.
Brennan is a player.
For those who aren't watching on video,
so Mike, people, it's kind of like people dug out Decky for a while. They're gonna dig out anybody who has a rough performance here and there. They're gonna still dig out Decky for his first half, which he seemed lazy in. There was a lot of lazy passing. The second goal was the goal that Brennan scored, and what a fucking finish. and that was off of a terrible mistake by Konza, like mistakes that he doesn't ever fucking make. But he made a mistake by making a lazy pass and not knowing who was around him. Like there were 4 fucking Spurs players around him. And when you have James Madison and Son pressing up and then Decky out wide, like you don't make passes like that. And Decky came in and made that interception, right? From behind. And and Brennan is right there to make that beautiful side foot finish. I loved Madison's goal for the celebration, and I loved Brennan's goal for the celebration, because I don't know why these teams, these opposing fans, think that they have to dig out Madison, because every time they get on Madison's shit, he writes their name down in his little book and he fucking comes after them. And James Madison, he's almost back, man. He's almost back. He's
it's
right there. And don't fuck with James Madison, because he's going to throw a dart in your face. But I don't know if you watched his celebration, because he wanted to go give shit to the fans, but then he realized he had to go hug Sar.
oh yeah,
So he was like kind of
he was
conflicted on
caught.
what he was going to
Like,
do. And then Brennan, of course, was like, he just kind of did his little wave, like, come on, boys. And then he looked at the Villa fans behind the goal and just shushed him. And he shushed him with a look of disgust on his face. And that made me very happy. He was shithousing the entire game, and he was playing hard. And we got a player in Brennan Johnson.
As if we needed any other reason to appreciate Ange Ball over what we've experienced in the past. 53rd minute, we're 2 goals up. Under Conte, under Mourinho, we're parking the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Instead, we get a 91st minute 3rd goal and a 94th minute 4th goal, which we did not let up. And that to me is.
And just as a preface to that, Steve, like we were saying on our chat, if Timo comes in, there's going to be another goal, right? Like we saw that happening. Silky came in, right?
I think I said once they announced the 10 minutes, I was like, there's 10 more minutes of this, motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. Right? You knew that we were not stopping. It was
we came out 2 minutes into the second half, and just that's when we held their heads underwater.
And it worked out. I'm looking at the stats. If you can believe it, Aston Villa took more shots. They had 10 shots to our 9. We only had 1 on target. I had not seen
that. That's insane.
Yeah, we had 5 on target. So we forced a save.
The XG at the end of the first half was what, 0.14 for us, 0.014 and 0.5 for them.
Yeah, so, it's wild, right?
Here's what you can do with your XG, right?
It's one of those things that I know we've talked about this in the past too, under Conte and under Mourinho, where we would end up in these situations ahead and then just throw it away by changing up how we're approaching the game. Not under Ange. No, nope. I don't care if we're up by 2 and they've got 10 players now. We're gonna keep going at this. We're twisting that screw. We're really putting it to them. I said it a couple weeks ago. This is a statement game. And the statement has been made. Ange is not fucking around to end this season. He is going for the throat. And I don't expect it will always work out this beautifully, but damn, am I excited to see what we've got next.
And thank God that Mickey's injury is his taking out was mostly precautionary. So thank God for that. So I think we'll probably have him back in a couple of weeks once we get through Luton Town and Fulham.
Luton Town.
There we go. Hey, Steve, there's been something I've been wondering, and I haven't had a chance to hear you bring this up in a little while. You want to ask what's on my mind?
I think we're thinking the same thing.
I think so.
We are collectively
together
thinking this question
as a unit.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah, together. You're both a couple of fucking units.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you.
What you drinking?
Oh, Steve.
Now take back that mean comment right there. Otherwise, we don't want to hear what you're drinking.
I'm drinking.
I'm going to ask Steve. I'm going to ask Steve to review a beer.
Pine Brook Dry Hopped Lager by Burlington Beer Company.
Yeah,
There you
because
go.
Burlington beer
It's
doesn't.
good.
They need more hops in everything.
I don't hate it. It's good. It's good. That's my
Okay.
review. Good.
It's good.
Very vanilla cream soda.
Cream soda. Oh. Is that
Very
Trader
exciting.
Joe's? Trader Joe's?
No, Shaw's grocery
Shaw's,
store.
huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
pretty good. Not too bad.
All right. Boys, today I got something from Belgium.
Is it a Belgian beer?
It is a Belgian beer. So this is isn't that pretty? Nice little.
The old orange and pink little Dunkin' Donuts kind of color scheme there, right?
Oh yeah. That's kind of funny, actually. This is called Bianca. It's by a brewery called Omnipolo. They're a brewery out of Belgium. They also have I think they have a brewery in Toronto, but I'm not positive. This is the first of their beers that I've actually purchased. But I've seen it a number of times at the bevy. So I
was gonna say, is this a bevy acquisition?
Oh yeah. It's against that back wall where they have all the international beers.
Yep.
This is a goza. So it's a blackberry maple pancake lassi goza.
You got Steve's attention.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Say that one more time. Blackberry pancake maple what?
Blackberry maple pancake lassi goza.
What's the lassie? I don't know that.
Not a fucking
Dog.
clue.
Okay.
That's a dog.
Got it.
What?
Timmy stuck in a well?
In the well? All right. So
I thought he said Locky for a second.
Yeah, Locky.
Oh,
Locky
yeah.
flavored goza.
Yeah.
How do you have a pancake
Nick threatened to
vodka?
pull my Lockies from his rotation.
And what is this brewery?
It's Omnipolo.
Omnipolo.
Sounds like
Bianca.
sounds like your favorite shirt.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, this smells great.
That's a vending machine. Oh, Omnipolo is a Swedish microbrewery.
It's a creative camp that expresses
Swedish.
itself through beer, is what it says here.
Swedish brewery. This says product of Belgium.
Yeah, I got Sweden here.
I got
Dude.
Sweden too.
All
Two
right,
L's in polo. Like Omnipollo.
Omnipollo. Pollos Hermanos.
Because that's what I'm
Los
reading.
Pollos Hermanos.
But Steve, I'm guessing you're on the same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
Omnipollo.
Boys, this is fucking purple.
The beer is
What the fuck?
It is purple.
They do have a distributor in Toronto.
Look at this. It says product
That
of
is
Belgium,
purple.
right? It says product of Belgium right on it.
maybe it's canned there, right? Omnipollo.
It's brewed at Omnipolo at De Prof Brewery Le Christie in Belgium.
Wikipedia says Swedish microbrewery. All right, we got some conflicting information here, man. Are you sure this is what you're drinking? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it says on it, on the can. And boy, it reeks of maple. The second I open it up, I could smell maple. It smells very blackberry. It is purple. The head is settled out on it. It looks very fizzy.
Looks like prune juice.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's not what it does to me later.
Right?
So we're at 7% here. 7%.
The company
Gozas-
operates bars.
Gozas
in
are
Stockholm,
typically like-
Hamburg and Tokyo.
They're sour ales that are made with sea salt to dumb down a lot of that sour so that you can actually fucking drink it. Super yeasty quality to them. They're the type of beers that are going to suck all of the moisture out of your mouth. This is a fruited mapled goza. I can't imagine that the Belgian / Swedish maple is better than ours, but who knows?
See, Mike, I feel like
It smells like
fake,
fake maple syrup.
It's either going to be amazing or horrible. Like I feel like there's way too much.
You know
going
what?
on in
It's
there.
like, you ever been to an IHOP?
I
Yeah.
have.
They have like the wheel of syrups.
Yeah.
Syrups.
Yeah.
Syrup flavored
There's-
concentrate.
when you're a kid, you kind of always go for the blueberry one, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of what this smells like. But anyway, let's get after it.
It tastes like burning.
Wow. Long sip there, bro. There was a little pucker face there, Steve. I don't know if you saw that.
Sorry, I was just reading this brewery has won several awards. For example, their double IPA Nebuchadnezzar won
Yep.
the award for best beer of the year at
At the
Stockholm
Stockholm Beer and
Nebuchadnezzar.
Whiskey
Whiskey
Festival.
Festival.
Yes, sir. I'm right there with you, Steve.
2012.
You know what? We're drinking this for Decky tonight then.
So,
But it says Belgian.
it says a Belgian style beer.
Well, his thing said brewed in Belgium.
It
What is
does.
the truth here?
Somebody's
I'm going to take a
lying.
picture and send it to you. Yeah,
Somebody's lying, and it's not Mike. We know that. But
You know what?
somebody-
It's probably actually brewed in like fucking White Plains, New York.
No, it's probably like Lawson's. You know how they brew down out of state for some stuff, right?
They do that for some sunshine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
This beer is the most unique beer I've ever had in my life. It's really super tasty. Like the blackberries all there. It's kind of thick and heavy. So it drinks.
That's what
It
she
drinks.
said?
Yes, thick and heavy. It drinks almost like a stout or a porter, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can see it.
More like a porter than a stout. It's fizzier. The mouthfeel is it's kind of like you're drinking heavy cream almost, but it's like a beer.
Lord.
Mike,
It's like you're drinking
give me
syrup.
Give me a time. I mean, and I'm not just saying this because of the maple syrup piece, but give me a time of day that this beer best suits.
Feels like we haven't done this section in a while. Like, where would you drink it, and what kind of a situation would you find yourself in?
Yeah,
it's like a breakfast beer. It's like a mimosa.
I kind of thought you'd go there. Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting from
Okay, but like brunch mimosa, or like it's 3 a.m. and you're at Denny's mimosa.
No,
or do you call it a Magosa?
Ooh, mimosa. Now we're getting somewhere. If I could get this cheaper than I actually bought it, I think this would be great for like the next morning. You're having breakfast out on the deck. It's a nice, beautiful day, nice, beautiful morning, sunny. You need something to take the edge off a little bit.
Little hair of the dog, but it doesn't taste quite the same, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a mimosa for a beer drinker.
A mimosa.
Interesting.
Beer drinker. Okay.
It's a fruity beverage. I really enjoy it.
All right.
I don't know that I can drink a bunch of them because it is very, very heavy.
All right, Steve. I'm honing in on a number. Let me send it your direction, my man.
And I am branching out. I'm doing sours. I'm doing gozas.
You are. I'm curious.
Are you guys?
We're locked in.
We are locked in, locked and loaded.
This beer is fucking wild. You're locked in?
Mm-hmm.
Locked in.
All right. 3.6.
Split the difference. Oh my god.
Locked in, Steve. Locked in. 3.537, Mike. That's where we went.
Shut up.
Yeah,
this
and
is
the only reason I didn't go 3.6.
This is a regular occurrence, and Wicked Spursy fans, this is not a setup. I know none of you are watching on the live stream because you're mostly across the sea.
One person is.
It's me.
Mike, the only reason I didn't go 3.6 is I didn't want to Price is Right, Steve. Like I didn't want to do the like butt up against it and own everything under type of deal. I wanted to leave room for you to hit the target in between, and boom, you hit the target in between.
The only reason I didn't go 3.6 is because I felt like he was going to go with an odd number.
You felt odd. I know. Steve, we got a nice thing going here, man. Well done.
We do.
Wait till next week when I switch it up and go with an odd number, and you guys are like guessing even.
You son of a
bitch. It could happen. We should start noting whether you're odd even based on the week.
We'll get a spreadsheet going. It'll be a thing.
Actually,
I'll use predictive modeling.
Today's an odd number day, and Mike went even. So let's use that to our advantage, Steve.
Okay,
that's how he goes. Mike, song. I'm curious what kind of song you might come up with for this thing.
Dude, it kind of evokes
House of Pain, Top of the Morning to you.
No, I'm not. See, you
always
go for the predictable.
Your hat, like it just all did it for me.
This is actually from Ireland. Yeah,
see, perfect.
But no, I think I'm gonna go with Cinderella. Shake Me.
Oh. Why?
It's the song makes me feel excited and crazy. Uh um so I kind of feel that's the way this beer makes me feel. It
Wow.
makes me want to kind of like bop and bang my head, like you've heard that song, like
Yeah, it's been a while.
yeah. And nobody's got a voice like he does, right?
What's your alcohol content in that? I don't recall you
Seven
saying.
7%.
All
7%.
right, decent.
Are you hoping I'm getting drunk? Is that what's happening?
I want to see
I haven't
you.
slept much in the past few
You've
days,
had
so
two sips and you're talking about banging your head. So yeah, I want to see you finish it. You got like 25 minutes to do so.
quiet riot, bang your head.
Nice. Very
No,
good,
no,
man.
I'm going with Cinderella. Shake Me.
All right.
Now,
This is
the real
good.
question I have now that we've gotten over this beer thing, what draws a company, a Swedish company, to go from Stockholm to Hamburg to Tokyo? How does that how does that connect?
They're huge in Japan. I have no idea.
They must be. It just seems so out of left field.
Yeah, there's something here. There's something to this, Mike. I'd
They're,
like you
they're
to
trying
drink
to
in.
corner the European, Scandinavian, and Asian markets.
Mike, we think you need to do more research on this brewery,
I
and
think I think I will. And in
Can
fact,
we call them up and have them on?
have
Like,
the have
hey,
the I'll have the Wicked Spursy research department get on it, and I'll also have to might have to take from some money from petty cash
petty
to
cash.
to
It's
fly
a,
ourselves there. So the
it's in
alert
the
the
little
finance
metal
department.
box under your desk, right? Just
Alert the
reach down
finance
there.
department, please.
We'll
they
do.
got some sweet looking merch though.
Very nice. Very nice.
Steve's all up on the merch, so
Well,
Yeah.
I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again. The green, for as much as I love them, they need to up their merch game.
what are you talking about? They have some of the best kits in the world.
The kit's short, but the rest of their
Beautiful
merch is
kit.
mid.
I concur.
So
I concur. And
I
they
have
need more options.
I'm wearing this wonderful sweatshirt right now. This is a fucking great sweatshirt. The most comfy sweatshirts
Yeah, but
I've
I
worn.
mean, it's got the badge on it, and
But give me that badge like larger, right? Don't give me
It
that
says
little.
Vermont Green Football Club on the back.
Gotcha. Larger is good.
Also, I will say I've got a message into Patrick Inferno, one of the founders, um, about getting some flat brim hats because
Yeah.
nobody wears those fucking bent brim hats anymore,
And
and they do
the other
they do have
options
the
they have
five
are
panel hat, the
they
five
have the
panel
weird
hat.
5 panel flat brim, but those don't work for guys like me or
Yeah,
like
me
you,
either.
Mike.
Yeah,
You got a beard and
I got a round face.
yeah, just
Yeah,
I
I
need
just
the
don't get the ones that have like the Vermont mascot on them. Like that just looks eh.
yeah. What's that guy's name, by the way? Greeny? What's his name? That little
sure,
Vermonty guy.
sure. We'll call him Greeny. I
He's
don't
got
know.
to have a name.
I
Mike, you don't know this?
you
You
would
should
think
know
that
this, Mike.
you would think that I know, but I'm
You
gonna
don't
plug.
discuss this in the super secret meetings?
I don't really have super secret meetings.
Can we get a better mascot?
I just pester Matt Wolf and Sam and Patrick to give me information.
Can we talk to Matt about our next Wicked Spursy logo, maybe?
If we could get Matt to make a Wicked Spursy logo, then like we're fucking elite.
Tell him if he makes a logo, we'll let him come on the pod and he can promote anything he wants. How's that sound? Good deal for Matt?
He doesn't need us. He's made shit for PSG.
Just try. What's it hurt to try?
In the Nigeria 2018 kit. I'll text him.
I'll text him. Mike's
I
big
will.
time in this, Steve.
I just
dude, I'll
for
big
whatever
time the shit out of
reason-
you guys.
For whatever reason, I have this vision of
Steve still hung up on the brewery. He's like, Tokyo?
No, I did pivot. I did pivot, but I've got this vision in my
Well,
head
they moved
now
out
of,
because of the Godzilla attacks. So.
I've got
We're
this
getting
vision
out of
of
here.
Dave.
This island
Dave
is
working,
dangerous.
I've got this vision of Dave working with Matt on like a new line of products, and he like gets unveiled at like the season opener wearing all this new merch, and it's like when Homer Simpson unveils the car that he designed. It's just an absolute dumpster fire.
I would gladly play that role. Absolutely. Gladly play that role. Hey boys, we don't have tons of time, but let's talk a bit about Fulham coming up this weekend, and then
Fulham.
Full
Fuck 'em.
ham.
we'll get to our normal closing thoughts. Steve, what do you think about Fulham?
Tottenham versus Full Ham.
Watch out, Adama Traore.
All lubed up and ready to go.
You know, Fulham is such a weird club to me because they just their results are all over the fucking place. Like I'm looking backwards, right? They lost to Wolves 2-1, but before that they beat Brighton 3-0. They beat Manchester United 2-1, and then they lost 2-1 to Aston Villa. Beat Bournemouth, drew to Burnley, drew to Everton, lost to Newcastle. Like it's just there's no consistency in this team. You don't really know what you're going to get, which I think is advantageous to Spurs in a way, assuming that we play the same sort of go for the throat style that we saw, especially in the second half against Villa. This is a team that is lacking consistency, that can be a tough opponent on their day, but those
Especially
days are
at the
few and far
Cottage.
Between.
Especially
Yeah,
at the
but
Cottage.
you know what? I'm not terribly concerned about that. Our away form has been great, and I think that the team will be feeling much more positive, having the game in hand against Villa. You know, being within spitting distance of top four. The players look hungry. They look energized. They look ready to go. I feel super confident in this team going to Fulham. And I don't think it's going to be an easy match by any stretch of the imagination. You know, Fulham, like I said, they can be dangerous. You know, Leno could put on a fucking masterclass goalkeeping performance, just
He used
keeping
to
us
like
out.
playing against us for Arsenal, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm just not super convinced that they have everything it takes to best us. I think Anthony Robinson's going to have his hands full. If fucking Tim Ream is still, I don't even know, is he still playing center back?
I think he's been injured most of the season, but who knows?
Dude, if he's out there, there's absolutely no way he's keeping up with our pace. Not a chance in hell.
No,
So
that's the
I
truth.
think they've got a lot going against them, right? Like,
Anthony Robinson would be I think it would be a wonderful backup to Destiny Odogi.
I'm
yeah.
not mad at that idea.
Okay, Ream's not playing, but still, I mean, looking at what they lined up with against Wolves, there's not a name on that sheet. Except, I mean, Leno has the ability to be a thorn as a goalkeeper, but I don't see anybody as having the skill or ability to go head to head with any of our players on this form for 90 full minutes. And even if they manage to get somebody like Brennan Johnson in the pocket, you just sub on Werner, and then they have a completely different problem to deal with. They're tired, and you've got fucking fresh-legged, speedy-ass Werner going at them, who has 2 goals in 2 games now, and is looking like he is a much more confident player. There's danger going at Fulham, and I don't think they're going to be able to cope. I see Spurs getting a victory, and honestly, I think they might get a victory and keep another clean sheet. I think that's going to be my prediction. 3-0 Spurs.
Okay.
You
Mike,
just
what do you think?
you just doomed us into the fucking ground.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure I
know
did, but you know
Steve
what?
is actually
Steve
often
Stradamus.
he's often right. Let's hope he
You know
is.
what? Ange told me that I can dream big, so I'm going to dream big. 3-0 minimum, and Vicario's looking quite pleased with himself.
Okay.
Boom. Mike.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't see Spurs having too much trouble with this team. Then again, you never know what's going to happen. They're going to sit low. They're going to try and counter on us. They're eventually,
low.
yeah. You made that joke earlier, and it was not received.
It was not received.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Tell Steve. Tell Steve about it.
so I gotta go back and refer to our chat. We have a chat with the Domalist, and Adam's been on the podcast before. Um, we have a little baseball chat, and Dave Dave made a joke and about the low
She hit the
LOWE.
floor. She hit the floor.
There
What's
was
in your
there was
low?
a Twitter
Low, low,
post.
low, low.
Yeah, and somebody said put all the lyrics in there, and then there was a picture of the three Lowe brothers um together. And I thought that was pretty funny. They're all professional baseball players. And Adam just sent a gift that was like, as that went over my head.
Yeah, we found out
So he
Adam
had
was,
to.
was too young.
So he sent a picture of the Flow Rida, and
And then it all
Flow
came
Rida,
together
who's
after
at the
that.
Champlain Valley Fair this year.
Was he really?
Yeah, my kids. No, he is. He's coming.
Oh, he is. That's
Yeah,
when you know your
my kids
career
want to
is
go see it, and I was like,
on the
I think
downward
that's a
slope.
show for you guys.
Flow rider. Yeah, when you're a performing artist and you start taking the county fairs, it's you see the end.
Yeah, like Charlie Daniels resigned himself to that years ago when people started to realize, oh wow, this guy's actually a racist.
Last year at the Vermont State Fair, didn't they have like the I Love the 90s show or something like that? Vanilla
Did
Ice
they?
was
It wasn't at
out
the Vermont. They had that a
in
few
lovely
years
Rutland.
back.
Yeah.
They had that a few years back, but it was good bands. It was like Bush. It was like Bush
Oh
and
no, this was like Vanilla Ice and like Neo, that kind of thing. Like it was all bad
Neo.
stuff. Bad
So
stuff.
yeah. So anyway, getting back.
Please hammer,
They're
don't
gonna
hurt him.
Fuller. Jesus Christ. Fulham is going to they're gonna sit back. They're gonna try and defend the best they can. Um, and like Steve said, they're a very inconsistent team. Um, but I don't see any reason why we need to be worried about their attack. Again, there's going to be the oddball that pops over the top, but we're coming off of this win against the top four team who, whether you want to believe they're a top four team or not, they were a top four team. They were they had good form. They were winning the games they were supposed to win. and Spurs came up and did the job that they needed to do. Spurs were the better team on paper. They were the better team on the field in both games. Even though they lost that last match. I just really think that like this is the type of game that can be the catalyst for a good run. The problem is that we have a couple of games that we have to win going into that that month of death. you know so I guess I got a question for you guys going into that April. Newcastle, Liverpool, City, Arsenal. What do you expect out of that? Like, how many points do you expect out of that? What is reasonable to you?
All of them.
You want 12 points?
Absolutely, I want 12 points. I don't think
Is
we'll
it
get
no?
12
Is it
points,
possible?
but
So, like, if you had to sit there and go, okay, these are the games that I think we need to win, or these are the points that we need to stay relevant, to stay in the mix, because teams like Man U, who are still a shit club and can't score goals, are still trying to hang around. I know that we still have a game in hand on them, but that'll be taken care of once we play Chelsea. So we have those teams that are like that out there that are just sitting there waiting in the wings, and we also have to realize that Villa has kind of a favorable schedule coming up. So when we get to April, we have to start thinking about what do we want to happen with those at least three of those games, because Newcastle just got fucking abused by Chelsea today. They ended up 3-2, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think 6 points is definitely reasonable.
I think 5 points is reasonable.
Yeah, I think we should beat Arsenal at home. Arsenal's a good team, but we tend to play well at home against them, and
They're I think this is the best Arsenal team that we've seen.
but
I think they're better
but
than last year.
this is the best
And they're
Spurs team
flying
that I've
high, and
seen.
they're flying high right now. This
Yeah.
is the best Spurs team, and it's not even like this is not the team that we're going to end up to be. We're going to end up
I
being.
think we should beat Newcastle. So I think give me those 6 and take our chances with the other two big boys. That's my
I
take.
think I think an Arsenal win is enough for me. I think that honestly, no, I honestly think an Arsenal, a win versus Arsenal is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
Those 3 points versus Arsenal is enough for me. Discluding that Newcastle game, I think we should win, but it is Newcastle. They do have a lot of really quality players. It's just they're still struggling with injuries, and they're still struggling to kind of get back to where they were last year. So, I mean, outside of that Newcastle, those 3 games against those 3 teams, I'm kind of fine as long as we beat Arsenal with losing to those other 2. As long as results fall our way.
Yeah. And we need
And
we
as
need
long
to
and
win.
as long
We
as
need to
and
win
as
this
long as
stretch
we beat
leading up
Fulham,
to it too. Yeah.
as long as we beat Fulham, we beat
Fulham,
Luton,
beat
we beat
Luton, Forest.
Newcastle and
Got
Forest.
Forest in there before. Yeah.
Right.
We need to win those. Need those.
Those
9
are the
points.
4 games we need to take the next 12 points, and then I'm comfortable losing to Newcastle or to Liverpool or City. But I don't think we will lose to Liverpool. I think they're a young team. They're hungry, but I don't think they can play against a team like us. They did it somehow, figured out a way to do it against City yesterday, but
Podcast title: Mike is comfortable losing. Hey, Stevie boy,
if
how
you
about
were
some-
still in charge, that's what it would be.
yeah, that's true. I would totally go with that. Steve, closing thoughts, man. What are you thinking about as we head towards the finish line?
I'm thinking about just how nice it is to be in a position where, we're getting into the last third of the season, and I don't hate our manager. I don't hate our
You're not
players.
you're not despondent. You're not frustrated.
Yeah, I feel like we've spent so much time either riding a manager or a player who's underperforming but still gets a start anyway for whatever reason. And it's just nice to be able to look at the squad, see all the good vibes, look at the coach, see all the good vibes, and then watch that translate into success in the game. And it doesn't always work, but it's been a few times this season where we've gone a goal behind. And Dave, you're often the voice of reason who just goes, you know what? Doesn't matter. It's going to come back. We're gonna take this. I've got confidence. We're gonna hit back and get the points. And you know what? More often than not, you're right. It happens. I know. I'm giving you props for my closing thought, but
Thank you.
I'm super
I'll
excited.
Venmo you a little bit later. We'll get that taken care of.
Thanks. I'm super. Yeah, I'm pleased with the way the season's gone. It hasn't been perfect, but it is indicative of a build that has been necessary for many years now. And I am so excited to see what we can do in the next season, right? I'm looking that far ahead now. If we lost every single game from here on out, but the squad kept their high spirits, they kept learning, they kept growing, I would still be excited. But
New
because of the
podcast
way
title.
they're playing,
Steve and Mike are comfortable losing.
because of the way we're playing, though, I don't have concern game after game. You tell me we've got to run in with Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester City. I'm looking at that like they ought to be scared of us at this point.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like cool. Let's see what happens. That's kind of the feeling
Exactly.
I have, as opposed to
I don't feel like, it's Liverpool. We'll be lucky to get a point. It's Liverpool. They're going to be looking for revenge, and we're going to be looking to prove that it wasn't a fluke. Let's go. Let's bring it. That's going to be a good game.
Damn. Follow up on that,
I
Mike.
am
What do you think?
enough.
You are.
I'm gonna continue Steve's thought. He's right. They should be worried about Spurs. This is as healthy as the Spurs team has been, and I think James Madison said it in an interview, was that no, this is not the best we've played this year. The best we played this year was in the beginning of the season, but I think he alluded to the fact that, but we're getting back there. This is the closest that we've had to a full starting squad since probably the fourth or fifth match, or since what, probably that Chelsea match where we,
since the pre-Chelsea era, right?
Since pre-Chelsea, when we fell apart, and somehow we're still fucking hanging around. We're getting back healthy. Bentancur did some nice things. Højbjerg still continues to impress and surprise, upping his value every single day. And we didn't even get into talking about that turn he made and that little feint he made at that midfield. So I mean, this is a scary Spurs team, and you know, I think that fans around the Premier League better start to fucking recognize, because, and I'm serious, and you better recognize.
You better recognize fans.
You know what? I'm very serious about that. Like, maybe, yeah, I'm okay with Spurs losing to Liverpool, Spurs losing to Man City. Those are fucking quality teams. If and I told Lucas the other day, we were watching Man City play, and I said, look at the way in the Champions League game, look at the way this team plays, look at the way they move without the ball. Every single player's work rate is like on the top tier, right? Those teams are the teams that, yeah, that's fucking awesome if you beat them, but you don't need to beat them. You need to win those other games. You need to win the games, those mid-table and the lower table teams, in order to be considered upper echelon. We're not there yet, but we will be. But right now, Spurs are starting to really click and starting to move. And I think this game was the catalyst for that. And I think that going forward, man, you bet these other teams better be afraid, and they had better recognize what, and the fans had better recognize what this team is bringing.
Mike's got a new podcast title. We'll leave that one to him. I did hear you say "Man U" though, Mike, and I don't want you to ever say that on this.
Did I say "Man U" instead of "Man City"?
No, you said "Man, you better recognize." I just don't want to hear you do that.
Man, you better
recognize. Comma YOU.
Man, comma you. Boys, well done. Well done. We're there. We made it. And it's been fun to have the three of us back together. It's been a little while since the Los Tres Amigos got to kick it together. So
the boys are back in town.
Great.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Steve, if you were gonna make a comment to our loyal and lovely listeners on the way out the door, what would you say to them?
Quiz.
And one more thing.
Don't be an asshole.
That's always good advice. And Michael, how about you?
Guys, I just want everybody to go out there and be safe.
Timely recommendation heard and appreciated. And what else would you have to offer?
Everyone, Tottenham Hotspur action. It's